So my last video on A equals 432 Hertz got a wide range of reactions. I'd like to share some of the negative ones with you right now.
Bullshit. Ear tuning by 430, approximate 432, it's clearly a math reference, basically because pitch isn't arbitrary. This boy is not getting the point of 432 Hertz, and a big atheist vibe in him. It is by far more relaxing and more consonant. Our ears perceive the intervals more easily and can single out notes in the mind easier. He hasn't been very smart with these arguments, specifically when he criticizes people defend the theory through numbers, and then he himself dives through the numbers the same way. Neither is he using his ears. Dude, you're horse shit. Don't talk about shit you don't understand and then call it new age bullshit. Everything is made up of resonance. There's no physical reality without resonance, and this resonance is in the form of sound, which also makes up the electromagnetic and visible light spectrum. The 8 hertz is the frequency in which all life...
So for these people, there's actually two things that I'd like to say. The first thing is that it's okay to think that 432 hertz sounds better than 440 hertz. It has a real emotional affect. Now, whether or not it's any different than, A equals 420 hertz or 425 hertz or 445 hertz or literally anything else, well, yeah, it's different, but it's not objectively better or worse because pitch is arbitrary. And that's all the things that I was saying in that video. It's okay to think that 432 hertz is better, but that's a personal preference. Because once you get into the science of it and the mathematics of it, well, there really isn't any difference. Pitch is arbitrary. And that's very important to know because numerology is not the same thing as mathematics. Mathematicians really don't care about any sort of coincidences between numbers, especially if those numbers aren't an objective reflection of reality. There were some people that sent me documentaries about 432 hertz, insisting that if I watched them, my mind would be changed about it. And yeah, I mean, when I was researching that video, my past video on 432 hertz, I watched all of the documentaries and they're all complete crap. I don't feel like I really needed to do a line-by-line debunking of every theory there is about 432 hertz. Like, for example, the Nazis invented 440 to somehow control the masses. That's completely not true. The Stuttgart pitch was 440 and it was set in the 19th century. And yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. And I've actually linked a couple more debunking links in the description in case you're at all interested about a line-by-line debunking of everything. I do understand where a lot of the people who are obsessed with this 432 hertz thing are coming from because they have a spiritual relationship to music and want to have some sort of scientific or mathematical validation to their relationship to music and music making. But to me, it feels lazy because you're not going into the study of any of this stuff with any degree of rigor. The nuts and bolts, the technical details of theory and math don't always look so pretty when you view them up close. And so it requires a much broader and deeper understanding of the material that you're working with in order to have a little bit more of a holistic viewpoint of the whole thing. Without this rigorous study, if you start making broad statements about sacred vibrational geometry and the geometry of math and the harmony of the spheres, it means nothing. Now, when Paul Hindemith writes a piece of music called Harmony of the Spheres based upon Kepler's work about the rotations of the orbits of planets around the sun and the harmonic ratios between them and all that good stuff, he's earned that right because he's walked the walk as a composer and he spent his entire lifetime working in the nitty-gritty of musical composition. That sort of grandiose ambition to describe things in this sort of wide-ranging, holistic viewpoint kind of has to be earned in order to feel right. And almost everything that I've ever read about 432 hertz isn't earned because, well, there's really nothing behind it. So anyway, I apologize about this rant. I kind of, had a lot of stuff to say. Yoda writes,
why do you care? I don't care why people want purple hair, so why should you care? How much financial gain are you getting out of it? I know the mechanics of sound, so I'm here to say, go away and learn stuff. We have 512 hertz DNA, which is backed by science, dude. That's the C5 of the 432 hertz tuning. Our brains also resonates at 7.8 to 8 hertz, the same as Earth. Our junk DNA has receptors or antennae that pick up sound, and guess what? Yep, they only respond to 432 hertz. So what happened? They respin, i.e. no longer junk DNA, which is where the healing stuffs come from. There's no magic here, just nature. 440 isn't good for us, and 432 keeps it at an optimum state. Heard of the Matrix? Amaya? Well, you're living in
yeah, I've been getting a lot of this kind of comment recently.
Conspiracy shite because it keeps you under control. I'm fully awake and unplugged from the Matrix.
Santiago Restrepo writes, it's not a matter of people thinking it's okay. It's been proven that the pineal gland and chemical molecules in the brain are resonant to 432 in the equivalent octaves. 440 has 6 less octaves than the 12 possible with 432. Do you even know why you have a pineal gland in your brain and how to use it?
I don't even know what you mean by 6 octaves less in 440. That doesn't really make any musical sense. You can't just throw musical terms and expect me to say like, oh, okay, yes. I'm a musician, I do this for a living, and things matter. terms matter. And so I don't even know what pseudoscience I need to debunk in order to say that that's wrong, because it's just words thrown together. So, yeah.
Pato D writes,
You morons, 432 hertz is a natural flow frequency. Sacred this, third eye, this, that, P. No, it's not about that, you fools. The perception of sound does indeed affect the flow in your body. Your cells relax. The correct evolution of your whole body gets motivated. And yes, of course it helps opening the third eye. Duh. Just like smoking a joint relaxes all the cells in your body, making your organs function right. IOW, it relaxes you. It eliminates negative energies. IOW, it regulates your emotions, thus it kills your anger because your body functions right. Therefore, you are listening to your heart.
I don't know,
So it is
like
logical in your third eye
4chan
to
send
open
these
because you are
people to troll me, or like